Hey guys, welcome back. It's Josh with the Financial Advisor Car Guy. I want to say this might be week 3 in a row, but I'm going to go ahead and do another video yet again on the Eclipse and some more updates with things that we did this week. So my daughter is super excited about this car. She's really gung-ho about finishing up the mods that we have for it, getting it dialed in, and then really taking it out and learning to drive on it. So we're going to just dive right in. Today's going to be pretty short because there's not a lot to it. But where I started, and I want to say, they all run together, man, because we work on this car like every day. So I'm trying to remember where I left it off last week. So if I say something that's redundant, I apologize. But as a recap, if you guys remember, I did go ahead and pull the front bumper off. I fixed the gap that was below the headlights, put some mesh inside the holes in the bumper, so to speak. And then I worked a bit on the interior by putting in a new shift knob, a leather wrapped shift knob, and then painting both the driver door and the passenger door panels. And then of course, fixing the door lock mechanisms inside. So I want to say that's where I left off last week. I don't think we did anything more. Again, forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but let's go ahead and look at the interior of this car again this week. At a quick glance, you're not going to necessarily notice anything different. The door panels are still painted, the sills are still painted, everything else is still there, including that shift knob. But where the upgrade came this week is twofold. Now, again, I'm noticing how dirty this chair is. It looks so much worse through the camera lens than it does in real life. So, man, that's really eye-opening. And so is the seatbelt. Oh gosh, that's gross. So we've got some serious deep cleaning to do, and that's coming soon. But really where we spent a few minutes of time this week, it took about an hour all in all, is getting in a double din touchscreen stereo. Now that is a $40 unit off of Amazon. It was complete. It came with a mounting bracket. It came with all the wiring harnesses I need. It came with, additional wiring. It came with actually a backup camera, which I did not wire in. What else did it come with? I mean, shoot, it was completely out of the box. $40 on Amazon, literally the steal of the century. It came with a little remote, which is right there. Wow. Yeah, it works incredibly well. Also, while we were at it, I went ahead and put in a sub. So back here, you can't really see it too well. Shoot. It's a powered sub. So it's got an amp, maybe if there, sort of, kind of, I don't know. You can see there's an amp built into the box, and then it's a 10-inch dual sub. Dual is just like a really cheap Walmart brand, but for the most part, it actually sounds pretty darn good. And then it sits up on a ledge. In fact, here, let me do this. Let's do this. So there it is. It sits on this ledge, and I was really concerned it was going to fall. So I built this little apparatus using a stick of wood and a little copper fitting deal there to kind of hold the sub in place. And so as we drive it around the neighborhood, as we take it around turns, it's heavy enough that it sits still, and that rod is kind of rigid enough that it's not going to just fall over. I suppose if you were going around a corner super, super fast, that rod could snap depending on inertia and all those things. But for the most part, it's going to serve its purpose just fine. While I have the back end of the car here, I'm going to actually drop down a little bit as I set the trunk down. There we go. We added emblems. My daughter I had these a long time ago, 20 plus years ago. I had a Mitsubishi Lancer with a body kit on it. And I bought emblems for the front and the back of that body kit and never ended up using them. So I've had them in storage all this time, and my daughter found them and said, "Dad, I really like that. I'd like to use those on the car." So perfect. We're getting them used. They look good. Another mod she did was just a carbon fiber license plate frame. I'm just going to show you one edge of it. But it is just blank carbon. She actually peeled off my handle. My Instagram, my TikTok, all those things were on that license plate frame, and she peeled off those stickers to make it blank. Cat's out of the bag. I know you guys just saw that. We got a wing installed. It's mounted. I'll walk around the car so you can see it from different angles, but I think it looks much better than I thought. I was a little skeptical. She really wanted a Fast and Furious wing, and well, darn, mission accomplished. Let's walk around to the back so you guys can kind of get the full view. Now this thing is 55 inches wide. You know, we wrapped it with this carbon kind of wrap. It's dirty because it's been raining outside, but doesn't look half bad. I'm pretty pleased with it. And, you know, from the front, let's come around this way. I mean, it's pretty wide. It fits the lines of the car real nice. You know, it extends out a little bit past the width of the cabin, the roof line and whatnot. And so all in all, I'm really pleased with it. Another thing I did, and this is where it might get redundant, is I painted the wheels. Now if you remember, they were a rattle can flat black and they didn't look very good. So we sanded them down a bit. I actually see a drip that I must not have sanded out, but they're not perfect. But we sanded them down enough to allow them to accept some paint. So I did go ahead and paint these. It's just like an alloy silver. It is indeed wheel paint. It's not just rattle can. But the other thing we did was we got new tires. So if you remember, the old tires were really skinny, really skinny. These ones are a bit meatier. They're 245s in the back, 225s up front. And I mean, so we're running a staggered setup, which is unheard of on these cars. I doubt we're the first and only people to ever do it. But looking online, I've yet to find another person who is running any sort of staggered setup on this car. So that's kind of cool. We'll see how long it lasts, but there's no rubbing or anything like that from what I can tell so far. My concern is in the back though, there's kind of an upper control arm type of piece that comes up and over the tire. And I'm guessing maybe over a speed bump or something, it may touch or it may rub. And so they may not be staggered forever, but this at least kind of solves an immediate need. And it'll also get us closer to the speedometer being correct, because the radius of the tires was so small last time around that I think it was something like 7% off, meaning at, you know, 100 miles an hour, the speedometer was actually wrong. I mean, the speedometer would say 100 and we're driving like 90, 91, 92, something like that. If we were traveling 100, the speedometer would read 107. I guess there's the math. So we got that fixed. That's huge. Next things on the docket is really getting this back window tinted. That is something she's super anxious about. We're going to try to do that this weekend if the weather stays nice. It doesn't look very good today. It's kind of blue, but gray. And so we've been working on it as we can. She ordered some paint markers off of Amazon. And so she's going to actually draw some sort of like tribal something right up in here and incorporate these heads here. You know I said it in the last video, but I told her I could pretty well try to shave those out. I could fill them with Bondo or fiberglass and then sand smooth and all the things and repaint. She decided that rather than do that, she's just going to do some sort of artwork to customize it and make it more her own. And at that point, she'll incorporate those into the design. So I'm kind of anxious to see what she comes up with and what she does. But again, it's her car and she wants to make it her own. And quite frankly, that's a lot less work for me. I don't have to figure out how to mask everything and spray and blend and do all the things. And so really what's left for me to do on this car is the back bumper and the side skirts need to be fitted and painted. But I'm going to paint those off the car and then I'll fit them. And then deal with any repercussions of having to blend if the panels look funny or if they look obviously different or whatever it is, then we'll deal with it. I'm also not crazy about this window here. It doesn't appear tinted until you get super close and then it's pretty dark. But I don't understand why it looks more similar to the not tinted window than the actual tinted window. It's this dark frame around here, and anyway, I might do something different with that. We have a pre-cut window tint kit for this car, and I'd really like to redo this window too. I mean, I don't love how this looks. You know, there's a couple of spots where it's maybe a little bubbled and peeling and wasn't cut perfectly fine, but this window just bugs me. I mean, looking at it from the profile, well, that's not a good example, but just in natural light, it just looks so much lighter. It looks like you can see right through it, but really you cannot. So I don't know, maybe you know what that is. If you do, comment down below and let me know. Is there an easy way to fix that? I also don't dislike the tint strip across the window. You can see that the glass had the natural tint and then somebody put a strip across. It's not as, I don't know, obvious as, say, that Challenger used to be. Ultimately, I peeled it off the Challenger. I'll leave it on this car because when I'm driving this car, it's not obnoxiously dark inside. It's not in the way. That may change if I tint this back window, but until I do, we'll see how it goes. Glancing around the car, the only other things other than the window tint and then painting the bumper and the side skirt is still getting the carbon fiber hood fitted. Now it's kind of back over here covered and in storage, so to speak, but I have carbon fiber wrap, and I think I did say this in a prior video as well, but I might just go pay somebody to wrap that hood, put it on the car. I have new washer nozzles, so that'll, fix that. And then I can sell off this hood, and I think that's really going to clean up and make the front end look sweet. But, other than the carbon fiber hood, side skirts, rear bumper, window tint, I still have an underglow kit. So the underglow kit is going to obviously go on all four sides of the vehicle. That is not going to get installed until after the side skirts. And then we need to fully detail the whole thing, really inside and out. But we're getting really close. So with where we're at with the car, I want to ask your opinion. Is there something that we did that we could have done differently and maybe better, right? We're not opposed to redoing things. Maybe someday she'll want to go to black wheels. Maybe someday she's going to want the car to be black instead of purple. Maybe one day she's going to want an aluminum wing instead of a carbon wing. I'm not opposed to redoing things if we need to. Ultimately, she's going to want a better sound system. We went super cheap. I mean, again, that deck was $40. The sub amp combo was used on Facebook Marketplace for $60. So literally $100 sound system. It actually sounds pretty good, but she'll probably want to upgrade that in time, and that's fine. Is there anything that you would like to see us do? Let us know in the comments. Comment down below, like and subscribe. Don't forget to share this stuff. Anytime you have questions, concerns, again, you can comment, you can email, if you know me, you can text me. Shoot, I'm good with all that stuff. But I do want to get feedback on this car. I'm really curious to see what people think of it. Is it too far over the top? Is it too $19.99? That was what she was going for. She really wanted a Fast and Furious-esque vehicle. I think she's achieving it very quickly. I think the wing really is kind of the icing on the cake. But for me, I think my favorite mod so far really is just the silver wheels. I think it really sets the car apart. And I don't know, I could be comfortable with black wheels if that's what she'd prefer. I just think that the purple color and the silver wheels just really make it pop. It makes all the accents stand out that much more. I mean, the black trim, the black mirrors, I think the carbon hood's gonna look amazing. The black taillights, the carbon wing, all those things on the purple look great. So the pop of silver is gonna look fantastic. And then her little, like I said, tribal artwork, whatever she chooses to do there to cover up that paint issue. She's gonna try to blend in some additional silver and white and black, and then maybe she'll pick another little accent color. I don't know. I don't know what she has in store. She's got a pretty solid idea of what she's gonna do, but she could very comfortably incorporate some beige, to match the interior, right? Something like that would look kind of cool. But let us know. What do you think? That's all I got. So until next week, remember, may every investment you make be a good one. Till next time.